You know, one of the films that I think a lot of people have been talking about, writing about, asking about is the Batman 2. The first Batman came out with Twilight Boy, and yet it was phenomenal. It was an excellent film, made big money, and like made it over, I believe it was over $800 million at the box office. Huge success, and everybody's been wondering where the second one is. It's taken Matt Reeves forever and a day to get it all together, but they are going to be starting to shoot it. And now, Robert Pattinson himself is coming out now talking about it a little bit, and he's saying this. Robert Pattinson teases the Batman 2 is taking some big swings, but he goes on to say this.
Set it down to the other scale.
Oh, thank you. The script is extraordinary, Pattinson told Deadline. I think it's going to be a really special movie and very, very different. He's talked about that before. Pattinson noted that the sequel to the 2022 DC Studios film will be different from the first, which was something he was surprised by, adding, "It's going to be interesting seeing it come out. It's taking some big swings." And I remember some conversations last year about the Batman and the potential sequel. We were still waiting on them to finish the script, which we were years waiting for a script to be finished. Finally got finished off, and we were wondering, and a conversation broke out about when they do another one, how will they change the tone? Will they keep it as foreboding and dark and gritty? Or just like near the end of the film, we saw Bruce Wayne evolve a little bit. His worldview evolved and changed he saw himself now a little bit differently. It's one of the great things about the movie was the ending, because it gave Batman a true personal character journey, not just trying to solve the crime. And he ends up in a different place mentally than where he was at the beginning of the film. And remember we talked about, are they going to reflect that in the tone of the next one? Like, we still want a more gritty, quote unquote, realistic feeling Batman, because that's what it's been so far. But what will they do? And it sounds like, from what Robert Pattinson is saying, that, oh yeah, this one's going to feel different from the first one. He's not, of course, going into details about how. I'm not at all surprised to hear him say that the script is extraordinary. It is still, of course, Matt Reeves, so I'm not surprised by that. I'm also not surprised that it's newsflash. Actor says his next movie is going to be really good. Trust me, bro. I mean, obviously there's that as well, but still nice to hear this. Rob, how are you interpreting Robert Pattinson's comments?
Well, I mean, look, as a longtime Batman fan, when I was growing up, like in the 80s reading comics, it was always wild to me how many different kinds of Batman were appearing concurrently in the comic books. I mean, it's all the same character, but on one hand, you had Batman and the Outsiders, with villains like the Nuclear Family, that was literally a father and mother and their kids that were nuclear powered, and they were the villains. So that was like this goofy, fun, Silver Age, wacky shenanigan Batman. Then you had Frank Miller doing the Dark Knight Returns and doing Batman Year One with David Mazzucchelli or whatever. And then you had the Batman that would appear in the comedic Justice League punching Guy Gardner in the face. So you had all of these different incarnations of the character existing at once. So I would say one of the great things that I loved about the Batman was how grounded it was. I love the grounded, like he really brought back the detective, the Dark Knight detective angle. And it was really like a gritty cop crime underworld thriller that had Batman in a very grounded, he was very grounded. Even the villain, I mean, the Penguin and Catwoman were still recognizably the Penguin and Catwoman, but it was more like that David Fincher Seven-esque kind of thing, rather than some heightened Gotham City of Michael Keaton's Batman. So I think they're probably going to take that grittiness and turn it and make it even more twisted and more, maybe a little bit more, inject some more strangeness into it. Because if you've got the reality, that Batman reality, now you can mess it up. You've already got the reality underpinnings of it all, but now you can make the villains even more twisted and more strange because they already have a launching pad that you believe in.
But I don't think they can make them, like, I still don't believe you can get into the more fantastical stuff.
No. I don't think it should be more fantastical, but they can, like, you could bring in the Court of Owls and talk about, like, a conspiracy that's existed
Yes,
for a
Court
long.
of Owls would be perfect.
You know, like yeah, I don't mean that they're gonna have like Killer Croc running around or
Yeah,
anything like that.
like Robert Pattinson's Batman universe, I don't believe can have Clayface. I don't believe Robert Pattinson's Batman universe can have a Man-Bat.
No,
or
but
things
yeah,
like that,
but
you know?
suddenly you can have a 100-year-old conspiracy or 100-year-old criminal empire that's been built in and woven into the fabric of society that we haven't seen before. So I think we're going to get a larger tapestry with which Batman is going to be working on. Because if you think about Matt Reeves' Batman, it was fairly contained. You know, it didn't have there weren't like larger forces at work. And I think that they can do that. They can expand it now because it already is grounded. So you can take the world out and expand the world out and make it a little bit more terrifying and strange.
All right, guys. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Factor. Hey guys, you know how it is. Between the daily live show, tracking the latest box office numbers, and planning our next movie meetup in the van, my schedule gets absolutely hectic. Now, somewhere between the first warm weekend and realizing short season is getting close, eating well stops just being optional. Factor is how we stop letting a busy schedule be our excuse. They provide fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs. I had their smoky Gouda mac and shredded beef after a long editing session last week on that Spider-Man Rights video I did, and it was amazing. So whether you're looking for calorie smart options or the new Muscle Pro collection, which is perfect if you're getting back into a workout routine, they have 100 rotating weekly meals to keep things fresh. And the best part? They are always fresh, never frozen, and ready in just 2 minutes with zero prep and zero stress. I love it, and I think you will too. So head over to factormeals.com/Campea50off and use the code Campea50off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easy with Factor. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you like take Robert Pattinson's comments with a grain of salt? Again, actor says his next movie is going to be really cool. Or, I mean, are you expecting what he's saying? And how do you think it's going to be different? Robert Pattinson says this time around it's going to be quite different from the first one. In what ways do you think they're going to do that? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.